everybody, and welcome back. Today we are going to be doing something really fun that I've been looking forward to, and we finally have gotten there. The weather is starting to shift into fall, and with that comes the opportunity to really evaluate your garden, and I'm going to be doing that today. I'm going to turn the camera around and walk around and just show you what I like, what needs to be moved, what my future thoughts are, what my plans are with this garden going forward, what works where it is. It's not just about the right plant and the right space. It's also about the composition and how they work and play in relation to the other things around them. And so that's something that I really look forward to fine-tuning this coming season. So let's get at it. So I'm just going to be walking around and talking out loud and basically sharing my design ideas and my thought process along the way. I know I find that really helpful when gardeners do that. So I'm going to be sharing that with you because if you're a new gardener, you might find it really helpful. And if you're a seasoned gardener, I like to get ideas from other seasoned gardeners as well. So these oriental lilies, they were beautiful here. They've done a wonderful job, but I feel like I can maximize this real estate a little bit better. And here's where I want to put them. I actually love them being on Dahlia Way because they actually are timed so perfectly with the dahlias. But these come up and they flower over the course of many, many weeks. So they're the beginning part of the summer. And then as soon as they kind of fade out, the dahlias came in. And I thought that that was like just a perfect timing and beautiful crescendo of synchronization of plants. And I want to create more areas like that where when one thing dies off, passes the hat or the battalion, if you will, to something else. So we're going to be popping out all of these lily bulbs, trying not to damage them. I'm trying to approach them from down underneath. And I'm just going to be setting them aside. Ooh. I think that having more of them on Dahlia Way is really going to be beautiful. And there's not many of them to move. Okay, so those are out now. And what I have planned for this area is these are my Jacomondi silver birches. And they are so beautiful and I love them. But we are almost a year into having them been planted in the ground, and I've noticed that the caliper of the tree, the density, the diameter of the trunk really hasn't thickened up. I don't think there's been really any noticeable growth on them. So I'm thinking that there's too much root competition with the grass in this area. So this fall, I'm actually going to be taking this grass out and extending my bed border all the way down, including this amelanchier, to the street. And I'm going to do a nice swoop to where it kind of meets back up over here. And I'm also going to be extending the grass area, or extending the bed area to include this tree, because this tree also hasn't increased in caliper or density at all. So I think that growing it in a lawn is detrimental, and I want to see some real growth put on with my trees. So we're going to be bringing the bed line down over here and bringing it up all the way to the curve. So it's going to be more of a natural sweeping, swooping, gentle line, if you will. So these brings me to my next point. These are beautiful and I've loved them, but this is their second year. And these are snapdragons. Snapdragons are a biennial. So it's time to pull these out and to say goodbye. So the snapdragons right here are beautiful. They did their job, but they're tired now, and I have a lot of new snapdragon starts inside that I'm going to be putting out this fall. So it's time to say goodbye to those guys. And so that brings me to my next point. I have a dahlia right here that I started from cuttings. Which one is it? It should have a tag. I think this might be K.A. Cinder Rose, but it's kind of being eaten up by this Tired Cosmo. And this wasn't my favorite Cosmo. I started this from seed. This is like one of those double click pink guys. And so I'm just kind of walking around seeing what's tired, what should go, what logically needs to go, so I can see what I'm left with, so I can see the body of and the structure of what I'm left with and where I want to move the important things like the perennials and the shrubs. And so far what I'm thinking in this area, if you can pan out, I have a lot of flowers, I have a lot of blooms, and I love that. But I'm kind of missing the density and the structure and the foliage that shrubs have to offer. And those are kind of the meat and bones of your garden space. And I do love the just perennial border look, but I want some more fullness, and I'm thinking some evergreen shrubs that are going to hold some structure during the winter time. And I also love the foliage and the density that they bring, and I'm really looking for density out here in our front border. So I'm going to be taking out this tired Cosmo. I have more Lysianthus that I need to cut and bring in, but we'll do that later. And this thing is kind of fallen over. And that kind of brings me to my next point. These are just, I'll look up the seed packet exactly to see what it was. But this is a scabiosa that I started from seed. And as you can see, the blooms they're pretty round. They're beautiful. They are really nice. But they've been flopping over on me pretty much all season, and I cut them back to encourage more blooms to come up. Excuse the construction sound next door. There's not a lot I can do about that. These are really beautiful, and I'm very happy with them. But I want to take you to show you a comparison that I actually, now that it's come into bloom, I actually think that it's much better. So come over here with me. On the other side of our front border, we have this scabiosa, and it's kind of tangled in a lavender plant. But I want you to get close and see. These stems are much sturdier and stronger. These are the Fama white scabiosas, and I got them off of Johnny's seeds. And now that these are in bloom, there really isn't any comparison. I feel like the foliage is prettier, cleaner, nicer. I feel like the blooms are a lot stronger. I don't have to chase them around and hold them up. So I think going forward, I'm really going to focus on these seeds, and they are more expensive for whatever reason. On Johnny's website, they're a couple of dollars more expensive than the other varieties of scabiosa, but I think that that couple of dollar difference in the seed packet is actually very worth it. So come over here. Up in this border here, we have, these are Chinese snowball viburnums, or they might be Japanese, but I also have some lilies over here. I have these two dahlias that are Otto's Thrill, and they are doing beautifully. I'm just waiting for them to come into bloom. And it looks like they've got little buds forming, and I cannot wait to show you guys those. So I have more lilies right here. That I'm just popping out. And there is a better way to more delicately remove bulbs. However, these were just a Costco special. They were very inexpensive, and they weren't particularly special. So if they get damaged in the process, they're easily replaceable. And so our next thing that we have to deal with is I started a bunch of white yarrow from seed, and I put them in this area. And as you can see the sunlight, I thought that this was a full sun bed. But after seeing their performance and realizing that there are times of the year where this really is the only pocket where we don't get a lot of sun consistently through the year. So that was my planting mistake. However, I'm not married to these yarrow. They're so easy to start from seed. And I think I want to do a more vibrant colors of them next year. So I think I'm just going to pull them out. They never thrived here. They survived but that was about it. And now I have this space to think about things that would thrive and do better in a more shaded environment. And now I kind of more clearly know the landscape of what I'm dealing with. And it's helpful clearing out these spaces from what you know you don't want, what you know isn't working, so that you can see what you have to work with. And that helps me going forward into the next season. And let's be real, like I've taken out white yarrow places before, and if any of the root is remaining, which I'm sure that it is, it's gonna just pop back. It's gonna regrow. And so I can literally, I know that I will have more right here this coming spring. And so I can move it around then if I want to. I have another flopping Cosmo, and yeah, it's still flowering. There's still pretty blooms on it, but the fact that it's flopping over onto my Rudbeckia, my black-eyed Susan, it kind of makes me not really want to deal with it anymore. It's not really worth it. Its day is pretty much done, and I appreciated her. She's beautiful, but it's time to pull her out and move on. So some things that I have around here also, right plant, beloved plant, but wrong place, is this Joe Pye weed. Now I thought that this was a sunnier location around the yarrow than it turned out to be. And this has been her growth this year. So I feel like we can serve her better. She gets pretty tall. She gets 4 to 6 feet tall. And I want her to really be able to do that. The pollinators love her. She's so good for the environment and for the insects. So she is a keeper, but I'm going to be putting her in the middle of the border, and I'm going to be building kind of thickness and density and height in the middle of my border. I don't want to move her yet because we have some 90-degree temperatures coming up. So I feel like planting new plants in this weather is fine because you're not damaging or hurting the root ball, and I feel like they adjust. But if I dug her out, I am going to be causing damage to her root ball, and then she's going to have to recover. And next week we have temperatures up into the upper 90s, and I don't really want to do that to her. So I'm just kind of taking notes and keeping in mind what I want to move from here. And this is also another, so this is my injured, I had sweet peas growing all over it. This is an Oakland holly, and she was really damaged by the sweet pea growing on her, and she hasn't really bounced back. And it's because she's not in a sunny enough location to really be able to heal like she needs to. So let's move on to the next. I am just walking around and kind of evaluating what I can take out now and kind of where I want to move things. So I have another flopped over double click Cosmo. And so, even though I will miss the blooms, I don't like the just complete untidiness of it all. So for my brain and to start feeling like I'm getting organized, these things gotta be taken out because it really does help me to be able to see the space and see the garden more clearly. So, and I'm going to be thinking, so I have campanulas that I'm going to be putting out here that I'm starting from seed. So I'm kind of starting to think in terms of what bed I'm going to put that in. So I have annual areas here, like where the gomphrena is and where the lisianthus is right here. And I'm thinking that this is probably going to be where I put a lot of the campanulas. So I'm just kind of starting to think in terms of what seeds am I starting and where do I kind of want to put them. This is another example of, these are Carthusian pinks. And they are a wonderful perennial. I started them from seed, but as you can see, they just look like little grass nodes. And I think that they're one of those that don't perform as well in their first year. But as you come over here, you can actually see this is one just coming into bloom. They're so pretty. This is actually a short spike. They get to be about 3 feet tall, and they're on these long, beautiful stems, and then they have these beautiful just purpley pink magenta flowers. They almost look like a drumstick allium, and I absolutely love them, but they are more of a plant that you mix into the border, not plant in clusters on its own and give it its own highlighted spot as I have it here. So I'm going to be moving these things back and kind of mixing them up so that I get these little pops of beautiful color. So another thing that I see, I need to cut this yarrow back, and I don't remember exactly what that was. These these China asters, these are awful. This is my second year growing, not even consecutively. I tried them a few years ago and they turned out like this, so then I tried them again. I do not know what I'm doing wrong with the China asters, but I really don't like them, and I feel like I gave them a fair shot. And there's so many other things that I start from seed that I'm like, I really am done attempting. You know, I've seen so many other people out with their beautiful China asters, and it's made me go, oh my gosh, like I need to give them another chance because they're really beautiful. But this is so underwhelming. This is really, they're like a fraction of the height that they should be. And they just do nothing for me. So I tried them. That was a fail. So they're coming out. And then I have another tired Cosmo, another tired double click Cosmo. So this one has to go as well. And she has a lot of Verbena bonariensis mixed up in here. So it feels nice to get all these clunky pieces taken out. So as I look around in here and I see what's working, I really love my Eugenia topiaries. They are absolutely beautiful. I love this beach ball pittosporum shrub, and it is just gorgeous. This needs to be clipped. I think I like it a little bit looser, but I think I'm gonna get it a little bit more clipped up. I love the boxwood, and I have more boxwood that I'm actually going to be putting in here. And I have some shrubs coming soon, and I had them planned for the East Garden, but I'm thinking right now that along the center here in these beds, I am going to be putting in some more lemon lime nandina, some orangeberry rocket, and some sunshine ligustra, because I really love them. Those are all evergreens. They're beautiful foliage. They are wonderful contrasting textures and colors, and I think that it's going to really add some body and some weight to the center of my bed, which is exactly what I'm wanting. What I'm also really excited about is a couple of weeks ago when I was at Lowe's, I found these better boxwoods, and it's the first time that I've actually seen them available at a retailer. And I got the Skylight variety because I believe that these are taller varieties. I think they get to several feet tall and wide, and these were $14. And usually I don't like buying boxwood this small. However, they said that they are very fast growing, whereas we know that these these are just Japanese boxwoods. I think these are winter gems. Very slow growth, which is actually really nice if you think about how often you have to prune and maintain them throughout the year. You know, it's not bad. I come out and clip my boxwood maybe 2 or 3 times a year, if that. These are blight and disease resistant compared to normal boxwoods. So I'm excited to try these and put them in and see how they perform. So I'm going to be this fall adding all of these shrubs to this front garden area. I think that was a wonderful start for today. I feel really good about it. It's wonderful to get out in your garden and get creative and start to really think about things. I find it very relaxing, and I hope you all have had a chance to get out in your garden today. And I look forward to the rest of this journey. And if you guys would like to come along and be a part of it, I would love that too. Have a wonderful day, and thank you for joining.